Good morning, students. Today we are going to start with our first chapter, A Period of Transition. The sources of study of the modern period in Indian history are relatively easier to obtain as compared to the ancient period. Different sources related to modern history have helped the historians to reconstruct British rule in India. These resources give valuable information on social, political, economic, and cultural development in India. There are two types of sources which help in studying the modern period in India: the primary sources and the secondary sources. The primary sources of studying the modern period in Indian history includes the first, administrative records. Here you can see the picture of administrative records. The British officials maintained written records of their meetings, policies, events, incidents, and plans. They built different museums to preserve these records. Now we can see the different types of archaeological sources that helps us to know about our modern period. Here we can see the picture of Gateway of India. We also can see the picture of Victoria Memorial. And this way, Parliament House, Rashtrapati Bhavan, all these gives a detailed account of art and architecture during the British rule. Next is the survey. This is the picture of survey. The British government periodically carried out surveys for administrative purposes. These provided information about the people, landscape, and topography of different areas. This further helped the British to formulate laws and policies for an effective administration. Now, next is the legal documents. Here are the pictures of some legal documents. Both the civil and criminal law courts during the British rule maintained their legal documents. These documents were archived at the Indian Office Records in London. They help the historians to gather information about the justice system under the British rule. After that, we can see our next point, that is the different types of diaries and the accounts of travelers. Accounts of the travelers, traders, missionaries, and British civil services who came to India in the 18th and 19th century are other useful resources of information for the historians. Sometimes these accounts were one-sided and biased and did not give the correct information. Still, the historians used them with caution to reconstruct Indian history. And the last point is the eyewitness account. The eyewitness accounts provided by the freedom fighters represent the Indian perspective of the British rule. These accounts are available at the British Library in London. So these were the primary sources. Now the secondary sources are the different types of books, newspapers, magazines, letters, pamphlets, etc. With the advent of the printing press, newspapers, magazines, letters, pamphlets, all these becomes the popular means to spread the spirit of nationalism among the Indian mass. They made the people aware of the British policies and existing condition in India. The first newspaper in India, Bengal Gazette, was published in Calcutta in 1780. So, different types of reports and reviews. The British introduced various policies, reforms, and laws and maintained it in their written documents or written reports. These records helped the British Crown to review their policies and to make changes with time. Now, the films and photographs. Different types of historians also use the different types of photographs or the films available in the libraries that helps us to reconstruct the Indian history. So in this way, we have seen that there are two types of sources. One is the primary and second is the secondary, and all these sources helps us to reconstruct our modern period or to know about the modern period, about our history. So that's all for today's class. We'll meet in the next class. Thank you, students.